Hey Chris, I got my webcam set up, so this is going to be the second video. I'm going to demo the sounds for you, and then I'm going to try to run through them kind of quickly. I'm going to try to keep it in under a half an hour. The beauty of this is it's going to be on YouTube, and you can go back. I'm going to send you texts of maybe pictures of the patches. So. The bank, I'm on bank 20 through 21. And this is the, preset patch. Let me get I'm gonna percussion. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to the beginning. Okay. This is tuned percussion. This is what they call bongos, right? Okay, this is bongos. This is how we make bongos. So I'm going to go to here. We're at the default. The first one's going to be, the first wave is going to be a triangle. Okay. The mix for oscillator 1 is going to be 100%. Put that on 100. If you want to boost, go to 127. The second wave is going to be a square oscillator. Okay. Square. And the mix is going to be at 65% for the second for oscillator number 2. So 65. 65. Okay. No LFO, no unison. You're gonna put this on poly. I mean, it's all percussion, so you can, all of these can be pretty much on mono. So the low pass filter, we're gonna do low pass filter 12 because that's what you have on your microKORG. It's the cutoff is going to be at 49%. Cutoff 49%. Okay. And then the resonance is going to be at 0. Okay. The envelope, oops. Filter, cutoff, resonance. Okay. Okay. And the filter is going to be at the attack. The filter envelope is going to be at 0. The decay is going to be at 11 seconds. The sustain is going to be at 0. The release, on. So the release is going to be 11 seconds. Okay, and this should be 0. And that should be good. Now the amp, the attack is going to be 0. The sustain, or the decay, is going to be at 20. The sustain is going to be at 0, and the release is going to be at 22. Hey, we're there. This is kind of a pop sort of sound. 808s actually have this sound. A lot of the times they call this like, a low tom or a high tom rather. Very useful. The next one, I'm not going to save it. This, so let's see, we're going to go forward. This is a castanet. Okay. You can also use this as kind of a click or a, you know, maybe a hi-hat or a, you know, or a, yeah, like a hi-hat. You could use it as a hi-hat if you wanted to. Okay, so we're on the default again. With castanets, your oscillator 1, oscillator 2, it's just gonna be a noise oscillator. So we're gonna switch. This is like one of my favorite oscillators, to be honest, because there's so much you can do with it. Okay. And then so we're not gonna hear anything if we turn on the noise oscillator. So we are going to have to go to the mixer section. And the noise level for this is going to be at 100%. Oh. Beautiful. Beautiful noise. Nothing with the LFO, nothing with unison. It's going to be mono, like we were talking about before. We're going to go to the filter section. The cutoff is going to be at 85%. Okay. And the resonance is going to be at 100%. Okay, real hissy, real hissy. Okay, the amp. There's no filter stuff. The amp EG. Okay, the attack is going to be at 0. The decay is going to be at 4. Okay. The sustain is going to be down to 0. And the release is going to be at 4 seconds. Okay. Okay, you have that, you know, or okay. So if you want more sound, you increase the release. Like if you want the sound to kind of, well, not the release necessarily, because we want it to be snappy, but the decay. You can really have a lot of timbral, you know, and you can cut it off even more. Yeah, so play around with it. That's castanets, right? That's castanets. So you could use that for a lot of different things. The next one is going to be super important in your, oh, whoops, the clap, right? Okay. If you go to the amp EG once again and the decay, you can really adjust the sound. A general rule when you're making patches is that if the sustain, if you want a really loud sound, a really loud like a switch, you turn the sustain all the way up and the release kind of all the way down. But the release and the sustain are almost symbiotic in a way. So basically, it's kind of one or the other. If you turn the sustain all the way down, that allows you to adjust the sound in a better way and control. You know, it's almost like a fake gunshot. But yeah, so this one. Okay, so the clap. Once again, we're going to the noise. We're making some noise. So we're going to go to oscillator 1. We're going to go to the noise. We have to go to the mixer. We have to turn the noise to 100%. Oscillator 2 is going to be off. So noise is at 100%. Okay, the LFO, we're going to switch to the LFO. We are going to use a triangle. Okay. We are going to put the frequency, we are going to put, I believe this is the frequency for LFO. Frequency, yes. Okay, we are going to put the frequency at 32 hertz. Okay. Okay, and then voice multi. So we're going to go to the filter section. We're going to go low pass. We are going to turn the cutoff up to 63%. Ooh, that's cool. 63%. Okay, the resonance is going to be at 30%. Right, the filter EG, right? So the attack, decay, sustain, release of the filter is going to be at 0, and then the decay is going to be at 15. Okay. The sustain is going to be at flat 0 once again, and the release is going to be at 15. Okay. Ooh, messed up. So 15. Forgot. Amp. The amp. The attack is going to be 0. Once again, the decay is going to be at 11. Okay. The sustain is going to drop to 0. And the release is going to be at 11. Okay. It's going to be at 11. So once again, if you want a more vibrant sound, you go to the decay. Super cool sound, super cool patch. You can mix it with a snare, and it's a little brushier, right? Right. I think this is. Let's see what. I think this is the cow. Yeah, this is the cowbell. Or you can. You can also take the arpeggiator, and you can adjust the swing and things. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do with the arpeggiator. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so the cowbell. More cowbell. We're going to do a square wave. The mix is for oscillator 1 is going to be 100%. Bring it down to 100. Oscillator 2 is going to be a SAW, or SA. It looks like a U with a little dash on top. That is going to be, let's see. That's fine. It's going to be down, or it's going to be up an octave. So on oscillator 2, Jesus. Oscillator 2, we've got tune. We're going to make that up an octave. This is so sensitive. Okay. Okay, and then the semitone is going to be +2. Okay, let's make sure that the mix, and then the mix is going to be an equal 100%. Sounds awful right now. It's going to be mono. Glide's going to be off. We're not messing with the LFO. We're going to go straight to the filter. We're going to do low pass 12. 88% is going to be the cutoff. 88%. Okay, and then the resonance is going to be 55%. Okay, and then okay, and then the envelope is going to be the filter envelope. Attack is going to be at 0. Decay is going to be at 2 seconds. Sustain is going to be at 65%. 65. The release is going to be 5 seconds. And the AmpEG, the attack is going to be 0. The decay, the attack's pretty much going to be 0 for most of these patches. Well, most of the percussion ones. Decay is going to be 15. Sustain is going to be 0. And the release is going to be 15. And then you can sounds like a shitty keyboard. But yeah, so that's the cowbell. Got the idea. Sidekick. I can't remember if I did the sidekick or not, but I might run through it real quick just because it's really fast. So a sidekick, we're gonna make a noise oscillator. So oscillator 1 is going to be a noise. We're gonna go to mixer. We're gonna turn not any time, but most of the time when we're using the beautiful noise oscillator, we are going to put that at 100% because that's all we're doing. It's a monosynth. There's going to be no unison. We're not doing anything with the LFO. We're switching to the filter section. The cutoff is going to be at 72%. Sorry, as you were, 71%. The resonance is going to be at 100%. Okay. And then for the amp filter, the attack is going to be 0. The decay is going to be 2 seconds. It says 1.19, but I'm over it. The sustain and the release are going to be 0 with the amp, or with the filter. With the amp, we're going to be, attack's going to be at 0. The decay is going to be at 9 seconds. The sustain is going to be at 0. And the release is going to be at 0. Okay. What you would use this for is to add a secondary brushy tone to your bass drum. So you would take your bass drum, so we could even, yeah, you would take your bass drum and put it on the first patch and then put this on the second patch, and you'd have a fuller kick. You could make your kick almost brushy and kind of breathy. That's kind of what that's for. It's real quick to make. we're going to go over snare. So, really important. I think this is the snare. I think this is the snare that I made. Anyway, we're just gonna run through it. Okay, so snare, super cool, super important. The first wave is going to be a triangle wave. Okay. We are going to master tune, like we're going to tune this down an octave. We're gonna tune the whole thing down an octave, so we're gonna have to go to pitch, and then we're going to go down an octave. Okay. The mix is going to be 100% for oscillator 1. No, well, the second oscillator, I kind of made a mistake. So starting over, your first oscillator, because oscillator 2 cannot be a noise, I totally forgot about this. Oscillator 1, only oscillator 1 has on the microKORG all your special oscillators. Oscillator 2 is very basic. So for this, we're actually going to start over. Sorry. We're going to go to oscillator 1. We're going to make a noise. And then we're going to go to mixer. We're going to kick this up, you know, to 20%. Which, yeah. So it's going to be at 20%. Oscillator 2 is going to be a triangle. Okay? The mix is going, for the triangle, for oscillator 2, is going to be at 100. 100. Okay, so we should hear it. We're not going to sync anything. We're not doing anything with the LFO. We're going to go to the filter. The cutoff is going to be at 100%. The resonance is going to be at 0. You're going to do nothing with the, we're going to turn this off. The amp EG, the attack is going to be 0. The decay is going to be 27. The sustain is going to be 0, and the release is going to be 27. 27. And then you can make it brushier as you increase the decay. Cool. Let's see, what else were we doing? That's actually it for all the patches. Yeah, so you have a series of, I'm gonna turn this up a bit so I can talk to you. So now you have a bunch of patches. Another patch that I kind of made, I guess this will be the sort of mystery patch, I guess. So what did I do? I'm going to turn it up as much as I can. We're going to give you a boost. Really listen. What did I do to create this? Sounds kind of like a snare, but it's different. What did I do to make it different? So think about it. Think about what I did. Think about the sound. You know, it's a combination of the two patches that we just made. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple sound. See if you can figure it out. You know, when you see these videos and when you're done, do what you can to show me your work. If you can save to your heart, you know, if you can save them as stems and then, you know, put them on your Octatrack and get them to me somehow as files, then that's great. You know, if you want to show me a video, it's like, hey Brian, you know, you just kind of right? You could just do that. You know, if you get stuck, let me know. We could try to work something out. If you're having the issues, I still say you have your filter section, and then you have your filter EG, right? So when you're diagnosing problems with your synth, you start from the sound source, and then you go to the mix, and then you go to the filter, and then you go to how the filter behaves or how the filter is being manipulated, and then you have the amp and how the amp is being manipulated, and then you have your effects and sound and like signal. So like, or you know, you could do effects and signal first, like you know, does not work in off position, right? Like if your mixer is all the way down and you're like, why am I not getting any sound? You know, or why is this not, you know, you know, but if you think that there's something going on with your synth, so I'm going to go to an so the like a lot of the issue that I think, you know, if you turn maybe even attack. You know, I don't know. I don't know what that issue is, but to me it sounds like the filter is making a sweep, and that may be in your filter EG, but I kind of said that before, and you don't think that's an issue. I really hope that your microKORG is working. I really hope that when you make these patches that it's not doing that, and I hope you don't, you know, because my machine has been super reliable, super good. So, I mean, if it's a hardware issue, I mean, you just, you know, if you just bought it, then I could see, like, you know, a hardware feature issue out of the gate, but, you know, I don't know. Well, anyway, hopefully your synth is working properly, and you know, you can get it ironed out, and I hope you like these patches. This is kind of a late video. Next week we are going to go over let's see, what should we go over? That's a great question. What's the next? Well, you know, what we could do. So to me, the foundation of a song, you have the drums or the beat, and then you have the rhythm section. And within that rhythm, you have bass and you have the chords, right? The bass, in my opinion, either reinforces the beat, right, in a very simplistic way, or it emphasizes the beat through what's called syncopation, which is playing off of the beat, right? This gives it groove, this gives it movement, motion, you know, these type of things. It's really important. So I guess next week, being a bass player, we could go over making bass patches, which is pretty much my favorite. It's my favorite part. I think it's the best part of a song. We could go over some bass patches. We'll do like 8 bass patches that are all different, and they all behave differently, and they're all utility. They all work really well. Most of them will probably get from the cookbook, but I'll definitely make a mystery bass patch for you to figure out, and I might do some more relevant, like, like a dubstep bass or a wobble bass, patch, or, something like that. Something kind of more relevant to today's times, because it's kind of the issue with the microKORG is it was made in the 90s, so a lot of the stock patches are from the 90s, and they're not really relevant anymore. I pretty much gut them. I pretty much like deleted all the initial patches or whatever. So next week I think we're gonna go over bass. And then probably the next week we'll go over chordal instruments. The week after that we'll probably go over pads. Maybe the week after that we'll go over fake sounds, or fake like pianos and like strings and like things that you'd actually maybe use. I really like a piano. I really like piano and organ sounds. That's harsh. Ooh. But I really like piano patches when I'm trying to like just get ideas down. I really like piano patches just for sketching ideas down, and there's some utility in having some orchestral sounds and things like that. Unfortunately, when you sample a professional orchestra and professional violin, especially saxophone, like fake saxophone is really crappy. And when you have a really good saxophone patch or a saxophone whatever, it's like you pay money for it, it seems. Like having a really good saxophone that sounds realistic, you can't. But nevertheless, identifying these sounds, identifying these timbres, will allow you to deconstruct. So I hope this was fun. If you get stuck, just rewind. That's the best part. I'm going to send you texts of all the various patches. This should be really easy for you, I think. I think you're going to fly through this. You seem pretty competent with all your stuff, man. Just have fun. You know, leave one of your A, B, C, or D banks open with these saved so that you can go back to them and sample them to your heart's content into your Octatrack, save them as stems, and you know, now you never have to really. And then if you get a new synth, so ultimately what you need to realize too with this cookbook, man, is that all these patches work on my MS-20 Mini, and they work on my Mini Log, and I've made patches on my computer this way, like with the synth patches. So this is like universal, and they're all some are gonna sound better, some are gonna sound worse. Like, you know, you just have to experiment. That's the fun part, you know. And then also, you know, mixing the sounds. You have multiple instruments playing at the same time, and you kind of mix the sounds together. But that's kind of more of a computer thing. You're an analog man, so you know we're gonna stick with this. You know, stick with what we're doing. When you figure out the mystery patch, let me know. I can tell you how I got it, and how it could be useful in a music production. It's kind of that technique, the technique I used to make that mystery patch. That's a technique that I would use to make a sample, and to sample it onto something. So yeah, so enjoy, and I look forward to making the next video. You take it easy.